The theory that I have chosen to talk about is the social penetration theory. Social penetration theory was discovered by two psychologists more than 2 decades ago. Erwin Altman and Thomas Taylor came up with the idea that social penetration theory helps with the knowledge of knowing how relational closeness develops between two people. Every relationship has different levels of intimacy. What you have with your husband is not what you're going to have with a coworker or a friend. Altman and Taylor believe that in order to capture the process, we first have to understand the complexity of people. To me, understanding people is one of the hardest things there is. I love the way that Altman and Taylor have explained how people work in a personal relationship. They have compared people like you and me to being an onion. When reading this theory, I was really shocked as to how true I think this is. They say that we are like a multi-layered onion. So if you peel the first layer off, there's another layer, and so on and so on. And humans, we're the same exact way. Um, we all have different layers that we hide, or that we only let certain other people see. To shed those layers, there has to be structure to the relationship so that it can build trust, and then it allows us to peel back and open up. The personality structure explains that the more layers we shed, the more vulnerable and centered around our self-image we really are. If you think about it, opening up to people is scary because it means that others will see and know things about us that in the end could really determine how people see us and think about us. And in today's generation, that is something that kind of controls who we are, and kind of defines us as a person. So digging into the layers, we tend to self-disclose with each other. This means that we feel more comfortable with sharing our deeper secrets with one another, knowing that the other person is also willing to share theirs with us. At the start of self-disclosure, it begins with very simple talk, which is just biographical data, just easy get to know you questions and answers between you and the other person. Then the more layers you start to peel, the more you start to getting to like goals in your life, your religious views, maybe some fears that you might have. Basically things that not many people know about you. You tend to do this with people that are willing to get into deeper layers of themselves with you as well. We often look for common ground in building initial relationships. So for example, going to college is a very scary thing, especially when you don't know anybody. For example, you've been told that you're going to live in a dorm with a complete stranger. So what do? You can either close yourself off from getting to know that person, or you can start by simply peeling off the onions, the layers of the onions with that person, just like the theory says. Find something that you both have in common. So, for example, if you see a picture on the wall that has music notes on it, you happen to be a musician too. Being able to share a common interest really is the first step to building a greater intimate relationship. Before long, you will have yourself a true friend to share college experiences with, which could really ultimately lead to lifelong friendships. It really takes no time at all to go through the outer layers of people's personalities, because really, it's really just associating yourself with people. Getting to know you, is just quick, easy questions. However, the deeper you go, and the longer the longer it will take to express who you are, and the harder it is to trust people with those feelings too. Because, like I said earlier, there's things that we hold deep down that nobody knows, and that we are very cautious of sharing with other people, because it does kind of define who you are deep down. So with every theory, there are critics. As true as I think this theory is, there are some out there who do not agree, or who would partially agree. Altman and Taylor base a lot of their social penetration theory on cost and reward. So basically, people desire to be in a relationship with one another because of the benefits that one might receive. Um, Julia Wood is one critic that does discuss this idea. This can be seen as a very selfish idea. So, making assumptions that we desire to build relationships because we will get something greater in return. It is not always about us and what we can gain. So, there should be a sense of compassion and care that comes with relationships when it is needed. Um, Most people will pursue a friendship regardless if there is any kind of benefit that is received. Because there is just some people who just do not open up very easily. And so just having that compassion, I feel like I can understand when people just don't feel comfortable, no matter how great of friends you are. I mean, people have been through some really hard times, and just opening up about things can just be really difficult. This theory also is assuming that each person is equal and wanting to share personal information and feelings. This is not, however, true for men. Women are more likely to self-disclose and thus are likely to move through the onion layers quickly and more deeper. I actually have experienced this. I'm a newlywed, and so this whole onion layer theory has really opened my eyes to a lot of things that I see in the conversations with my husband. That I'm more about my feelings, and I'm very quick to open up and to really get down to deep conversations, whereas he would just rather push it to the side and just deal with it later, or or it doesn't matter. So men and women are definitely men and women are definitely different when you talk about this theory, just because we internalize things differently, and we just think that our feelings are different. So the next time you have a start to a new friendship with someone, think about the peeling of the onion theory and how it could relate to your life. I really think that it would change the way that we look at others and how different the conversations could go. Having a better understanding of how people's personalities are and how deep conversations can go by just by equally opening up, I think honestly could better our chances of having more important people in our lives that would stick around for years and years down the road. So.